As we all know, loneliness is a globally huge issue. It has been growing through all demographics, and actually I find it a bit weird on why people are more and more lonely while we also have more and more means to stay in contact with each other. So in general, I've been intrigued by loneliness for quite some time now, and also I've been intrigued by technology in general. And I'm interested to see if there is possibility to make these two things work together so that technology could help decrease the amount of loneliness we experience in the world. Hi, I'm Nicholas Anderson and welcome to my channel Before Singularity. I wrote with DIAK, Diakonia University of Applied Sciences, a preliminary study on how AI could be used to decrease loneliness or fight loneliness. In the scope of the study, we also did a couple of small-scale tests with a reactor, and indeed, in the preliminary study, we found out that it is possible to fight loneliness with the help of technology, but there's still quite a lot to be done. We need to do a bit more research and especially quite a lot more actions to be taken in the field. And we found out that there are direct and indirect ways to fight loneliness. The indirect ways are, well, to do more research and more studies in the area, and by that we hopefully gain more knowledge on why people are lonely and what are the factors that make it so that people feel more lonely and how they could be helped out from their feelings of loneliness. And then on the direct side, there is already lots of applications that work maybe as a bit like self-help and conversational partners, and then also through robotics and hardware it's possible to find new ways of keeping in touch with each other for the people who are maybe less tech savvy. The small scale test, as I said, was done by a reactor, and in the test we used BERT to analyze two different data sets to see what could be found out from there. One of the data sets was by Helsingin Sanomat. They did earlier an interview regarding loneliness, and the other data set was scraped from Suomi24, a Finnish discussion forum. There was also similar studies done in the States where they interviewed a bunch of elderly people in an elderly home and analyzed the answers with NLP. The results from this other preliminary study showed that men tended to use a bit stronger words when describing their loneliness, in better or worse, than women, but both genders seem to perceive a sort of similar amount of loneliness. Some issues that we found was, at least one of them was the amount of data required by the AI to actually do something useful. Loneliness researcher actually said in one of the meetings that he thought he found a treasure trove of data, and that amount of data was actually really small for the AI. And another one was that people don't say directly they are lonely, they describe their feelings in different ways, so it's a bit difficult to specify who is the one who feels lonely from text-based material, and so that there should be a baseline written on who is lonely and who is not, to help the AI identify the lonely ones from the rest. The results that we found were mostly regarding how words correlate to each other and what could be used out of those. But that is something I'm going to go through in a later video. Some of the direct ways we found that could be used to help AI was actually applications. There are plenty of those already. Some of the more prominent ones we found were Replica AI, Wobot, and the Wisa AI. I'll link them all below. And they seem to be quite different from each other. Some are more self-help applications, while the others are more trying to help you discuss about your feelings, and they ask lots of questions. And I actually found it quite enjoyable to chat with Replica about myself without having to without the fear of boring the other part, the discussion partner. As they all seemed quite good, I was also happy to see on their website that none of them claimed to be a replacement for a therapist, and all of them said that if you really have issues, you should go and find a therapist for yourself, which I think is quite good in the context of being responsible. Also, on the same topic on responsibility, one issue I found myself struggling with was actually data privacy. While I sort of trust at least the intentions of the companies to try to keep the data private, I don't sort of trust the technology that much to actually start going through too intricate details about my personal life online. And I sort of think that it would maybe be good to have a disposable phone or a phone that is not identified to me and have separate accounts that are not tied to me in any way to be able to use those more comfortably. Different hardware solutions and robotic solutions we found in the preliminary study was regarding how to stay in contact with people and how to spruce communication with people. And the stay in contact has lots to do with telepresence robotics, and specifically in the area of how to manage to have a video communication with the people who are less tech savvy, and their solutions on how to open up a communication, a video communication, so that the receiver only has to sit on the couch and wait for the video to open. And I think that can actually help quite a lot for the specifically elderly who are not that tech savvy and might have issues with smart devices. And then the helping of creating conversation amongst people, there was a solution from Memoride, who have been able to translate the movements of a exercising bike into Google Maps so that Google Maps can show people the places they have grown up in to create conversations about memories from their past lives. So that's it for now. I'm going to talk more about robotics and AI in healthcare and loneliness. There's lots of areas to cover, but if there's something you want to hear specifically about, please ask in the comments below, and have a good week. Bye!